you.
That's
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Word up.
All right, we are live now.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Special edition, Truth Be Told, PMG Radio, No Mercy TV. I got a eclectic, excellent, and dope panel of people here. I wanted to discuss this year's election and the black vote. It's we are a little than 2 months away now at this point. Where we
Yeah,
at? September
early
20th?
November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little less than
About
2
a
months
month.
away at this point from this year's election. And yeah, so let's start by introducing everybody. Let's start with Keita. Introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, La Femme Lakita, mompreneur, blogger, good person.
All right, go ahead, Marilyn. Introduce yourself.
Hey, it's Marilyn. I am a community school director for 2 middle schools in the Bronx. And I'm a mom. That's it.
No Mercy, of course, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
No Mercy, Trap New York shit, blogger, league owner. I make stars and I piss people off at the same time.
All right, and I'm Peso. And yeah, man. So
that was the most.
Like I said, just want to have a quick discussion. So let's start here. Everybody here is voting this year. Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I'm on the fence still.
What?
Mercy?
I'm on the fence.
What Mercy said?
He's on the fence.
You on the fence?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to see it on my page. Got it. Okay. And I am voting. All right. So I feel like what's in the forefront right now is the African American vote. How important it is. That's been in it's like you can't go in any news station and not hear about it right now. CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox. Everybody's talking about the black vote right now. What do y'all feel is different between this year's election and last year's election? Let's start with Keita.
This year's election and last year.
Yeah, what do you feel is different between this year's election and last year's election?
There are definitely have been, outside of the political world, a lot of more African-American deaths.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a whole pandemic where we lost thousands of African-Americans who we need to vote.
I got you, man. What about you, Marilyn? What you think?
People got more time. The pandemic put time on people's hands. So everybody had more opportunity to see things happen and record things happening because they've been killing us. Now it's just like more people have the opportunity to be where George Floyd happened to be when he got killed, right? Because if they was working, chances are that would have been something that happened and we would have heard about it later. Like Breonna Taylor, she died months and we found out months later because nobody recorded it. But I think people got more time on their hands now. So it's like, I got time, so this is what I'm gonna do in my free time.
I got you. What you think, Mercy? What you think is the difference between this year's election and last year's?
For me, I feel like it's a whole lot more on the line right now. Not even just in terms of the black vote itself, but just as a planet and a society. Like, it is so many issues right now that have to be addressed. And I also feel like a lot of people are waking up to a lot of the issues that are going on in society, such as the oppression of blacks and things of that nature. So it's a lot that has to be addressed. It's a lot more that has to be addressed this year going into it.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing I'm seeing is just the engagement. I feel like way more people are engaged in this year's election. Honestly, I feel like last time black people really didn't give a fuck. Like, I felt like we felt like we had nobody in the election. We still do to a degree. We're gonna get to that in a minute. But the last one, I really felt like black people felt like we had nobody in that election, so we didn't really care about it. You know what I mean? In terms of just like when we go back to Obama, right? Like, we was at them polls heavy for Obama because we felt like we had a dog in the fight. You know what I mean?
And I also feel like
This one here.
reason, like I feel like people was going hard to vote for Obama because he was black. That's it. They didn't know what he stood for.
Oh, of course.
They didn't know nothing. And last year,
Listen. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I voted for Obama strictly because he was black. I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't give a fuck about him. I never heard of him. I voted for him just because he was black. That was it.
But look, that was most of us though. That was most of us because me personally, like, I'm not really a political person, but something like that really caught my attention. Like somebody of like almost similar skin tone being in the White House. Oh yeah, I'm voting for this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, well, let me ask you this: since we're on that topic, do y'all think Biden is trying to swindle us with Kamala?
I don't think it's a swindle. Because I do think it was a bad choice based on the other black women that he had the option to choose. But I don't think it's a swindle. I think politics is a swindle in itself. Like if you're a politician, then you trying to finesse the people, you know. My thing is like, I just think when people look at the election, they need to look at the whole picture. And I know people are like, they hate Kamala, they hate her. But then it's like, you can't be mad at somebody who works within the rules that they have. And then you look at 45, and he doesn't even respect the Constitution that he's supposed to be responsible for upholding. So that's the thing that should scare people. Like even the Trump supporters, like.
But we also got to remember. I think a lot of people tend to forget this, that Trump isn't a politician; he's a businessman.
Exactly, and that's what they keep forgetting. He doesn't respect himself. He doesn't respect anyone. He respects money, though. He respects money, and people are forgetting. And this is the reason why most of the Republicans are voting for him, because they're business owners, their investment, they invest in stock and, you know, all different finances. And this is why they want him in. That's all he knows. That's all that man knows. So I'm not into politics at all. Preferably, I wouldn't vote for either one of them. However, I'm sorry, my niece is FaceTiming me. However, I'm going to vote for the one that knows a little bit more about politics than finance.
Hold on. We're going to get into that, kid. We're going to get into that. Hold on. I don't want to get too far ahead. We're going to get into that. But who here believes that voting doesn't matter, or our vote doesn't count, or the elections are already rigged, so we shouldn't even vote? Who here believes that?
He was going to raise his hand. You know what? In my bed preparing for that statement this morning, because I have to say, for people who say their vote doesn't count, you got to think about it like this, right? There was people who fought for us to get it, right? So once we got the opportunity to do it, we got to take advantage of it, because as soon as they say something like, oh, black people can't vote no more, then everybody's going to be like, why can't I do it? But you wasn't doing it in the first place, right? Exactly. And then if they decide to do something crazy with politics and be like, add up how many times, how many elections you voted in, and say whether or not you should participate moving forward, then you're gonna be up in arms. Like whether your vote, like they posted something.
But you got to remember too, even before black people could vote, women couldn't vote, period.
Exactly. For me, it's a double whammy. I vote at everything. I vote at the PTA meetings.
Right. Absolutely. I vote for everything. And that's part of elections, PTA. I don't care for the garbage men. I don't care. I vote.
But listen, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Every time I see women at the PTA meetings, I didn't realize why they didn't allow women to vote, because y'all just be bugging at the PTA meetings.
Nah, you gotta,
like for real.
What you mean?
As the director of a school and an advocate for parents,
it's always the women wilding at the PTA meetings. It's never the men, yo.
They have the voice. Parents gotta know in schools, it's about the parents. The parents are the number one stakeholders. Trust me when I say that. When it comes to budget, when it comes to everything, watch Bad Education. You'll see what that looks like when it comes to parents speaking up on behalf of their schools. But
what I was gonna say.
Go
ahead, Marilyn. Go ahead.
this morning they showed something on the news that is probably going to be disheartening to people. They were saying like people who did the absentee ballots in New York, their things had to be post dated by the election night. So there's going to people who going to say like, well then how's my vote counted then if I'm if it's postmarked by the election night?
Well, with COVID, the election issue is going to be funny nationwide. In New York, I don't think New York has decided whether or not they're going to actually have polling stations open or not. But I want to double back on something real quick. I want to go to the man who doesn't believe that our votes count. Why do you believe that, Mercy?
I feel like this, and when I say I believe our votes don't count, I more so feel like in the presidential election, just because the presidents that we do get continue to like, I don't feel like if our votes are mattering that we get people like George Bush in it. I don't feel like we get people like Trump in it. So something is going wrong to where we're just getting like these weird people at the head of the White House that are just doing bullshit. Like there's no way Trump should have got in it.
Do you vote in local elections? Because that's where that comes from. It's not like it's a
no.
So
I tell you no.
If you don't vote in your local elections, that's how we end up with people like Trump.
Yes,
and most people don't. But even still, Mercy, you do know you not voting was a vote for Trump.
Yeah, it was, Mercy.
It can be interpreted as that, but I feel like also you have two evils. It's like sometimes who do you pick? Because I don't feel like you're ever going to have you're never going to have the perfect candidate that's going to meet like all of your needs. So it's like sometimes it's hard to choose. Like, here's
the thing, right? This year, the bottom line is, regardless of how anybody feels, either Joe Biden or Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. That's the bottom line. There's no getting around it. It is what it is, right?
And it don't need to be Trump.
We can all sit here and be rational and level-headed minded enough to know that that's just a fact. You know what I mean? One of those two dudes are going to be the next president.
And the fact is, you got to get Trump out. That's a fact. Get him out. Yeah. We could vote for him.
Listen, I get that train of thought, but then it's like, do we replace him with somebody who also might not be as good of a president?
I don't think that there's anybody that could top the BS that Trump.
That's a good point. I ain't gonna lie. That's a good point.
It is, but I feel there's nobody gonna top the stupidity, I can't tell you what to say. My 8-year-old is fucking smarter than him, and I'm dead ass. I would vote for my 8-year-old. And you know what's so funny? My son, he's been watching TV since he was 4 months old. Just the news. He knows more about politics, honestly, than I do. And I'm not even gonna lie. Even gonna lie. I have people that I live in a garden complex. I have people that buy him things all the time because they said he's gonna be our next president, our future president.
And that's good.
Somebody saying that as opposed to our president is now about an 8-year-old. Mm-hmm. What does that say?
I think in most situations it's the lesser of two evils. Because I agree. I just think about it like this: when people say like picking a party, being a Republican or a Democrat. Now, if I had a lot of money, if I was rich, I would totally be a Republican because everything is about self-preservation, right? But even with Trump as my president of self-preservation, I would vote for someone else because I can't do it. I can't. It's like training your kid to be disrespectful to adults, and then your kid turns around and be disrespectful to you. That's what Trump does. He does what he needs.
So I want to be totally objective and totally fair. Do anybody here feel like Trump has helped the economy?
No.
Well, I'm gonna say I looked at a couple of things. Like I had to literally sit down and review some of the bills that he put in place, and I could share the website with y'all. He did do a couple of things for small businesses and other things like that. He definitely did. But again, did it without the means of, like, he didn't follow the chain that he's supposed to follow, right? So it's like you get approval, then you do. But he just did it.
Yeah, no, because Maryland, like I said, once again, Maryland, you got to remember, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. So he doesn't do things in the traditional sense of how politicians does it. He's used to being a boss.
Right.
His whole life, he's been a boss. Right. So it's like he's in a position now to where he doesn't understand the chain of politics. He don't understand you got to go through the legislative and the Senate and the House. He don't understand that.
See,
you know what I mean?
I'm not buying that, because it's people around him who tell him what he should and should not do. It's the same thing like with the pandemic and how him and Fauci fell out. It's like every time they had a discussion in the situation room, he came out and said exactly the opposite. And that's why he was like, wait, we didn't discuss this. So he not following the rules.
Because Marilyn, once again, you talking to a man that's used to being a boss. He's used to being a dictator. So he's not used to having somebody, he's not used to having opposition to his word. He's not used to that.
And this is exactly why he should not be a president, because every other president, whether they were assholes or not, Bush, whatever, they follow the chain of command still. They listen to what these advisors would tell them to do. I'm sure Bush didn't expect us to have, 9/11 occur. They told him, you need to get out there and you need to be at ground zero helping. What the hell did he do? I couldn't see him, but I had a better respect for him when I saw him out there helping at ground zero.
Let me ask you this.
Out there, if we had a thing like that at ground zero, I'm sorry.
let me ask you this. I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, I feel like Black people were very hard on Obama, his 8 years. I feel like we gave Obama a lot of flack. Do you think this country appreciates Obama more now after going through 4 years of Trump?
Oh, definitely. I see it all day, every day on Facebook, even some Republicans. That they made bad choices by not either voting for him or not appreciating this man more.
But I also think it showed that racism is not bigger than the White House, right? Because there was no way that a white system was going to let a Black man save the Black people. So they let him do as much as he could do. But then people realized that just because it was a Black man president, don't mean that Black president didn't still have to deal with the racism of a racist system. Because they was like, yeah, you could give out phones, but don't free nobody from jail. But you could create that father initiative, but we ain't gonna let nobody out of jail. And then Trump came in and used Obama's platform and then gave clemency to all these Black people. But that was Obama's plan. But Obama couldn't go and free Max B like Trump.
Let me tell you something. Obama had Jeezy and Rick Ross in the White House. Obama gonna forever be my nigga.
Right.
They wasn't about to let that Black man do nothing more than what they did. People have to realize that we living in a system that was not built for Black people. So Obama did exactly what they let him do. They kept him on a leash. They kept denying things he wanted to do. They kept vetoing things. They kept going on vacation while they were supposed to be voting. Obama was just stuck shooting basketball. He had to quit smoking cigarettes at the worst time of his life.
Exactly.
They was not about to let that Black man save the Black people. And then make somebody else come up. Because it's like, you got to think about it, right? Why is there nobody in their 30s or 40s that's equipped to be president? These presidents are 78, 79. And it's like, they're not even talking about Joe Biden as a president. They talking about Kamala Harris as the person who would take over as president because Joe Biden might die. Like, it's like, how you not even talk about this man as a president, because he's gonna be 79 if he win. But you got to think about it. Is the world ready for a Black woman to be president? Not just a woman, but a Black.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
We wasn't ready for an idiot like 45.
Go ahead, Mercy.
I think we'll do pretty good with a Black woman.
Can I say something?
Listen, Myrtle, go ahead. Myrtle is here with us. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. How are
Hey.
you? I'm late. But I just feel like I couldn't sit by and let this discussion continue without my input. With the whole Joe Biden situation and Kamala Harris, he already said that he was going to be a one-term president and he was going to open the door for a Black woman to lead this country. And that is why he picked Kamala Harris, someone who can unite the country, someone who's liked by white women, liked by Black women, that is multiracial, that is that went to an HBCU, which if you have that HBCU crowd behind you, you have what you need.
And she
They
also
will get everybody on board.
Her sorority.
and her sorority.
Hold on, no, but hold on. Here goes objective peso. She has a white husband. She has incarcerated hundreds of Black men in California. She refused to hear cases to get not guilty Black men out of jail. She refused to hear cases that had dirty cops involved. She refused to even acknowledge police reform. She once said, I don't even want to be looked at as a Black attorney general. I just want to be looked at as an attorney general. I feel like Kamala Harris wasn't Black until she needed Black people. That's my honest opinion.
I think that was that people talk about playing the game, right? Because if I come out too hard for my people, they're not going to respect me and I can't get where I need to be to do what I need to do. It's the same thing, like you kind of gotta put yourself in a position where you don't identify too much with one side when you're not in a position to make the changes that you need to make. Now, hold
on. But Marilyn, I hear you, but I'm gonna say this. No, listen.
She definitely did. So get to that.
Listen. I hear you, but I'm gonna say this, and this was the thing with Obama, right? Obama was the first Black president. He wasn't the president of Black people. He was the president of the United States, right? But at the end of the day, we cannot skip over the fact that he's a Black man. There's no getting around that. He is a Black man. Kamala Harris is a Black woman.
Oh no.
Yo, P, your joint froze. Yo, he's about to go off too.
Yeah.
Yo, P, if you damn.
Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My shit froze for a second,
Yeah.
right? Y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As Kamala Harris as being a Black woman, we just simply look at Black people to do for our people. I don't think we're crazy for that.
No, I don't think we are either, but we also have to look at the bigger picture that they still have other things they have to do. You know, everybody's going to look at it that way, but we're not going to get everything we want just because
and that was going to be my point. Like, even though we have Black presidents and things of that nature, they can't only address Black issues. Like, they have a whole country to look after.
No. I said that. I said Obama wasn't the president of Black people. He was the president of the United States.
But also didn't have a past that you looked into so deep, right? So like had Obama had the history that she had, people would have been looking at him differently. Black people talk so bad about Obama, so bad about him. Like he literally was just the Black president who tried to do his job, and people talk so like Obama didn't do shit for Black people. Obama wasn't the Black people president. Right. The president of the United States.
Exactly.
Like it's like not just us. Like if we want to have our own Black nation, that's a whole.
Let me tell you something. I want to say this to everybody that's going to see this. The biggest thing Obama could ever do is give all of our kids and grandkids hope. Because now when you say when you look at your kid or your grandkid and say you can be president one day, you can really mean that shit now. Because we've seen a Black man do it.
And you can show them like, yeah, this guy with your skin color was president of the United States.
Right. So that's the biggest thing Obama did. He gave every kid hope that they can really be whatever they want to be in life.
And I think the biggest misconception that we as Black people had with Obama is a lot of Black people thought that he was going to be like Jesus, the second coming.
Right.
Right.
And, we put him
Right.
on this
Yep.
pedestal, not knowing that this man is human, number
Mhm.
one. Number two, he has to do what's in the best interest of all the people that paid for his campaign, because at the end of the day, somebody had to pay to get him on that ballot.
Yeah.
Number three, he also had to make sure that not only were the issues of Americans taken care of, but also the international community, because America always, since the beginning of its inception, has always been the police for the entire world. So
Right.
now he has to go around and make amends for what George Bush did.
And that's exactly what
And then on top of that, not only did he inherit the stuff that George Bush did,
he had to clean
now
it up
there's more stuff. It's more.
and
It's
then more.
Right. He never
And
got
then you saw like the progression from 2008 to 2016. This man aged like that. Like the stress was,
Mhm.
I'm happy that he's not there right now.
I think Murtel. I think Murtel is saying what I've always said. Obama, in a nutshell, he did the best he could with what he had.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
Real talk. Yeah, go ahead, Keita.
and clean up everything that George Bush pretty much screwed up, then still deal with the 9/11, then have to bring us out of the recession we were in, then have to go after send people after bin Laden. It's a lot.
imagine
You gotta give him credit for catching him too.
I give him the most credit because everyone says, what did he do? That's a number one thing that he did. How long am I trying to go after him? Nobody's ever found this guy.
All of those sentences he repealed for all of those nonviolent drug offenders who were doing 20 and 30 years for selling a nickel bag of cocaine in 1982, who he brought home. Let's talk about that too.
But I gotta say, my dad got out of jail, so, and my father was
okay, he got out of jail on that.
He was dealing with the Rockefeller drug laws, and he got out.
Oh, so your daddy got home on Obama.
He did 25 years.
That's a good thing. That's damn.
He had 25 to life.
You see? So that's what Obama did. So I want to get into so let's get back to this year's election, man. So we got Joe Biden, we got Donald Trump. Who here believes both of them are racist?
I believe they are.
Both of them are racist?
I believe that honestly, I believe a majority of Caucasian people have racism in them. Not because they want to, because it was instilled in them from their parents. But because get it from.
But I also think too, it's like you play to your audience. So
yes.
You've been a part of my school's equity, right? And it's those situations where it's like how you talk in front of Black people and then how you talk to your friends in suburbia about Black people. Like, I feel like Joe Biden is like one of those type of people. Like, Obama's my best friend, so I got my hood pass, but I don't fuck with that nigga when I go home. He's my Black entry. I don't hate Black people, but I know that I need them. So I'm gonna play that game. But I feel like there's a lot of white people who kind of straddle the fence, not necessarily.
Oh, definitely.
Not racist.
I don't blow them up like that, but because we're on live, but when I share it, they'll see it. But I have white friends that are best friends. And I had to pull up on them and call a dinner meeting because I felt that they weren't showing enough support for me when I was posting about all the Black Lives Matters. And I feel it was like, well, one of them was because of their husband. You get what I'm saying? That he's an asshole. So he has, to me, I never have problems with him, but I see encounters that he has with other people going back and forth on social media. And I'm like, okay, so she's not commenting. I'm your friend. So what I had to make them look at the bigger picture was, you have daughters. Both of you have daughters. If there's someone going around raping all Italian white girls, I'm posting, I'm supporting, save the white girls, whatever. So I expect that same energy from you.
Yeah, people can't sympathize unless it personally affects them.
Yes. So I told them.
Let me get Martell in here because I see Martell say go ahead.
I think the confusion and the utter, basically the confusion is, do we want someone who is blatantly racist,
right,
who says certain things, or do we want someone who in the past has said certain things that may be construed as racism?
And exactly.
So do we want the upfront racist or do we want the low-key racist?
Right. But I got friends who say,
and I think that is, and I think that's what a lot of Black people are going through with this election. Because if we pull up his record, there were certain things that he said. He said he didn't want his kids going to a school that's going to be considered a jungle. When he was talking about, the integrated schools and everything.
Yeah.
But again, I feel
he also, not to cut you off, he also said we need to lock up all Black people who make life inconvenient for white people. He said that.
But again,
I'm talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden said that.
I completely understand, but for me, I believe that people can change.
I agree.
And I believe that people can have experiences. Maybe Obama was Joe Biden's wide opening. Like, here's this Black man. He could have picked anybody to be his vice president, but he picked my white ass to be the vice president.
But then the question is,
opened up his eyes, and now maybe he genuinely wants to fight for us.
But then the question becomes, could Obama have really picked anybody, or was that something that was decided by the party?
I think, but Obama needed Joe Biden now. Obama needed Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact.
And that's why Joe Biden said that he's only going to be here for one term, because he just wants to open the door.
Right. Let me tell you something. You are naive if you really don't think Joe Biden played a huge part in Obama getting elected.
He did.
No, I believe. I just feel like I don't think that was. I think certain things are predetermined, right? Like prescribed. Mm-hmm. Like Trump being president was a plan. Somebody needed to do something, right?
No. Oh yeah.
I feel like it was a plan, because him being president makes no sense.
No, it does, because it like my brother, what's his name, something Jones, he said this was a whitewash. This was white America's show of authority.
But I said this was a plan. Like, they was like, let's fuck this up really big. Like, let's show these people we've got the upper hand and put Trump in.
But the scary thing about Trump for me is that he refuses to even acknowledge racism exists.
Mm-hmm. And that's why.
And when it's a Black protest going on, we'll go on Twitter and tell people, "Oh, shoot these looters and rioters and stuff like that." Right. That's the type of racism that doesn't need to be around.
But even when he's directly asked about it, he doesn't even want to acknowledge that there is racism in this country.
I don't know if you guys saw the town hall that he did this past week.
I did.
And then when the Black pastor asked him about, the whole racial inequality in the country, he said, "Oh, I hope that there's no issues with Black people in this country." Are you serious?
Yeah, he said and you know what's crazy? I'm so glad you brought that up, Martell.
And I don't like watch. I find out things that he say from other people because I can't watch him. He makes me want to vomit in my mouth. And I'm serious. The things that utters out of his mouth is just stupid and disgusting. Like, what? What are you talking about? It makes me question, do I even have a brain for even watching him on television?
And let me tell you something. That black man gave him the best alley-oop you can ever get as somebody running for candidacy. He gave him the opportunity to just say, yo, that's wrong. I don't stand for that. It won't happen again on my watch. But you know what he did? Instead of doing that, he just went the left way and said, I don't even know what you're talking about.
He flipped everything that Obama put into play. He flipped it.
I think that his dislike for anybody who's not white is what the issue is, because he treated every reporter who was not a white man during the whole pandemic briefings. He like treated them like shit the whole time. The black woman, he kept saying, "What did you say? What did you say?" But he heard her very clear. Then he
He treats female reporters like shit regardless. Like I
the Asian reporter, he kept saying the China virus, the China virus. Well, it came from China.
No. What Mercy just brought up, is really dope though. He really has zero respect for women.
He has no respect at all. And for even to me, when I see like, I guess like female Republicans going in on him, I'm like, he has no respect for you. If he puts this law into play and a female gets raped and they won't have that option to abort the child, he doesn't care. He don't respect anybody.
I think one thing.
I'm not for abortions, but those type of situations are different. You know what I mean?
Are you against them though?
God forbid I get raped tomorrow, I am getting an abortion.
So you're not for or against them?
Yeah,
I'm pro-choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that.
What about you, Martel? What about you, Martel?
I'm pro-choice to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And
listen, I'm gonna say this, and the reason why I'm not asking Mercy, because I feel like abortion isn't a topic that any man should discuss. That we shouldn't have no opinion on that. That is totally up to women.
I disagree with that. I feel like when it comes to a situation when it's a partnership, I do feel like the men should have a conversation.
Right.
But when it comes to like
we can have a dialogue, but we cannot have a certain opinion on that, because at the end of the day, we cannot fathom what y'all go through in that decision.
I mean, you can have an opinion, but it doesn't mean that what you feel is going to be the outcome, right?
Right.
So if I'm your girl and I'm having a baby and you don't want me to, and you tell me to have an abortion, that's fine, right? But you're not.
No. That's not fine, because I should have thought about that before I slept with you unprotected.
We both should have thought.
And see that's my whole point as a man. If you're gonna lay with a woman, understand that laying with this woman might produce a child. So you have to
that I understand, but I'm giving an example of rape. So Peso, say if you have a female, God forbid, knock on wood, that happens to her. You don't want to put an input on if your significant other gets raped and she's contemplating if she's going to keep this child.
That's 1,000% on that decision is up to her.
It definitely is. But what she's saying is more of, if me and you are together, Peso, right? And I get raped in the alley and then I'm pregnant. And as my person, as my man, you should have an opinion. Like, nah, you shouldn't keep that baby. Whether or not I decide to keep it as my man, you can say that.
But
listen, of course, in a rape situation, I'm going to tell you not to have a rape baby. But at the end of the day, I can't force you down to Planned Parenthood and strap you to the bed and make you like, you know what I mean? Like,
right, but that's what she asked you, and you said no.
Who is Trump to take that away from a woman? That's my point.
Mm-hmm. The problem was all of the laws surrounding situations like that, where I believe at one point it was like with the whole discussion that they were having, like with all the guys, I think it was like in Alabama or something like that, all of the politicians and stuff. I think there was a law that said, like, if you got raped, you couldn't like abort the baby or something. That to me was like, what the hell?
And
yeah,
I think it was.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, Martel. when they decided Roe v. Wade, I think it was mostly men on the Supreme Court at that time.
They
And I
were.
think
It
was
was.
And that's the
But
problem.
their white daughters from black men. That was because all the white girls wanted babies by black men,
Yes, they did.
and it was okay for
Mhm.
abortion if it was their white daughters. But everybody, like, look at them. They're forcing the people in the ICE camps to get hysterectomies without their permission because they don't
crazy.
Crazy.
want babies. Like, it's crazy.
So quick. I just want a quick in and out on this one. I'm not gonna sit too long with that, but while we on this, I gotta hear your thoughts. Do y'all think COVID was population control?
I don't, because my son lost his grandmother who was a doctor to COVID.
I got you. Anybody else think COVID was population? Because I've been hearing that a lot of people think COVID it was population control.
Nah, I don't think that. I don't think it was something that was that like planned out. Like, I really think that was like a freak accident.
But I just feel that in a way, indirectly, it was population control.
I agree.
Because we were already, Black and brown people were already in a situation where we didn't have the proper resources that we needed to begin with. So indirectly, it was some kind of population control.
I agree
the way they handled it.
with you.
Yeah, the way they handled it. I would say that.
Spiraled out of control. And they didn't expect it to. And that's what I definitely think it was. And I lost my god sister. I lost a doctor that I worked with. I lost a lot of people that, I had close relationships with. My sister lost her mother-in-law. And how she lost it is she went into to get dialysis treatment. 2 days later, she got COVID. 3 days later, she's in the hospital. 4 days later, she's dead.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
that's what it was like.
The way they handled it, like once it was like COVID is here, then it was like they just let it spiral out of control. I feel like it's the way they handle AIDS and everything. It was like, this population is getting it, great. Let them die.
So everybody here is in agreement that the Trump administration could have handled COVID better.
Yeah, because Obama that plan, and he removed it. He had everything right there for if we had an outbreak, if we had a pandemic, and Trump out of here. Obama, he wanted nothing to do with it. So then look what the outcome was. All of these people that were lost, all of these people died because we could have had a vaccine for it already. If he would have listened to what Obama left. He gave you a Bible for it. For the next pandemic. Obama
called it in 2014. Obama said we need to be prepared for airborne illness. Obama called it.
Because what did we have? 2009 or 2010? What
2014. 2014. Ebola.
No, but before that we had swine flu because I was working in a hospital then.
That was H1N1, right?
A lot of people died, but they got it under control more faster than this. This is still not even in control.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I will say about
just from wearing a mask, I feel like I'm gonna die because I have asthma and allergies.
And one thing
fuck that shit. I'm keeping my mask on. I'm probably gonna be wearing a mask to 2022. Fuck that.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about the handling of the situation.
Hold on, Martel, hold on 1 second. Mercy, my man Chris Casanova might be coming in. I sent him the link. He said he wanted to join in. I sent him the link. So just look in the queue to see if he there. So go ahead.
Okay, I got you.
Go ahead, Martel. I'm sorry.
One thing I will say about the handling of the COVID-19 crisis in America versus how it was handled in other countries. All of these citizens of other countries were getting monthly checks from their governments saying, okay, we accounted for the cost of living. This is how much you're going to need every month. They gave us $1,200. and over the
Marcel,
day.
Marcel, I thought you was about to say some whole other shit. You want your money, huh? That's what you want. Huh?
No, but I'm just saying, like, you're talking about the economy this, the economy that.
Right,
Where is our money to
right.
spend to make the economy, function again? You giving us
Well, you know
$1,200
what's
thinking that's
you
gonna
know what
last.
we're gonna be real. I think giving people 1,200 for what 4 or 5 months now, going on 6 months, is fucked up.
It's very fucked up.
You know what I mean? Like,
About my bill from the beginning of the pandemic in the grocery store
yeah.
till the end. 300, almost 300 a week, because one, I got an 8-year-old active that's home from college. I mean, home from school. I got a
I was about to say that's one smart ass 8-year-old
wait,
goes
wait.
for college.
I'm sorry. I got a college kid now home from college, eating and athletic, and and works out every day. My bill went up immensely. My electric bill went up immensely. My gas bill and hot water went up. I was like, I might have to
Yeah.
get another job.
Because you home on now.
My kids were home, and then I had my older one here who was in California. He came home just to visit and ended up being here the whole pandemic.
Yo, Keita, I know you said you had to go at 7. Could you give me 20 more minutes? So I just want 2 more things, then we out.
I got you.
All right, because I want to get Marilyn and you on this one, since I know both of y'all have kids and work with kids. What was the impact of COVID with this year's school year coming up?
My God, let me tell you something. I'm gonna show you right now. Every day, this. I was like, I need a paycheck. I'm teaching my kid, and I'm right next to him, and I'm doing my work from home. I need a check.
Right.
To me,
Right.
teachers didn't do much to me. They didn't do much, and it's not their fault. But I'm like hoping with this school year that's starting, because my son is starting tomorrow remotely, that it will be a better experience, because you can't put a kid, or especially like ages 4 to like 5 through like 9 in front of a computer all day and not move around. They're gonna be agitated. They're gonna be looking off. My kid was in a chat box, and I would hear the teacher say something, and then I'm giving him this look like, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, I'm yelling, I'm doing too much. It was just, oh my God, no.
What about you, Marilyn? How has all this affected this year's school year coming up?
So I'm gonna speak to you as a parent and as the director of the school. So as the director of the school, my focus is always the parents, right? My focus is the other shit outside of academics, right? So like Keita said, the extra food that she's spending, because like for me, I'm like, COVID, y'all thinking about families who got food stamps, they getting extra food stamps, they getting this, they getting that. But what about the parents who are still working? And what about the parents who are essential workers and they gotta leave their kids home? And what about the parents who come home and there's no cereal and they just bought the cereal last night and it's like gone?
Girl.
Right? So I'm thinking about myself. I got 2
Right.
kids. I got an 11-year-old and I got an 8-year-old. These kids eat like nobody's business. So what I was able to do was use the money. So like I work for a community-based organization. And what the mayor tried to do was like freeze the school budget. So like school couldn't spend money, right? So it was like, you can't spend no money right now because we don't know what's gonna happen with the budget. But for us, because my budget is $1 million for my school, I went in. I did care packages, cereal, bread, milk. I emailed the parents. Like my main focus was parents not losing it because they couldn't feed their kids or not suffering. So it helped me gain a better relationship with the parents, and it also helped the parents get a little bit more patience with the school, because
Right.
I'm working on my own. I'm working as a representative of the principal, and it's like, oh, well, he cares about us. So on the academic end, that's a whole different situation for me. I feel like they playing with these parents. They changing the date, pushing the date back, pushing the date back.
Mhm.
When in all actuality, like participating in those meetings that I was participating, I was telling my people on Facebook, put your kids in remote, set up a schedule, get your kids stuck to that schedule, because what's going to happen is all of our black and brown kids who already have issues with reading and paying attention and special education, they're going to fall further behind, and they're not going to have the future that they could have had the system continued running.
Yeah,
But
you know it's crazy because I got two sisters. They both got two kids. I love my nieces, my nephew. I got two nieces. I got two nephews. They complain about the same thing: food. These little ass kids can fit a lot in them little ass bellies,
You don't understand. Like, you don't understand. And I'm like, I would even cook for like to last 2 days, 3 days, and the food going in a day. I'm like, yo,
these little kids can eat. They can eat a lot.
that was my main
like, for me, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even, you know me, Pay, so I keep it a buck. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna eat. Let me just let them eat, because they want to eat. I'll eat apples, and I'll eat rice cakes and peanut butter, because it was getting crazy. I'm like, I'm tired of spending all this bread.
But
yo,
I felt like for me, it was a good situation for me creatively, because I was able to think of shit like real quick, like as a mom, what would I want my school to do? What would I need somebody to do? So I was like, we had ordered like crock pots and pressure cookers as like gifts. So we was telling everybody, like, we're gonna send you this and we're gonna send you that. I'm sending people stuff on Amazon because that's what we could do. Like, it was like a care package. We send it to your house. We did a cooking class, quick meals to cook at home. I was able to do like game night, like since you're home with your kids and they getting on your damn nerve, this is how you manage that. And all those questions they ask you, this is how you manage that. So I was able to be like that therapist for them.
Right.
Doing it during the time when ideally I wasn't working. So it was like I work 8 to 4. But when during this time, I work 7:30 to 11:30. Like, I was texting parents, helping them get their kids' iPads ready for whatever, because I just felt like this is what I would need. And because I was
but you know, at the end of the day, I feel for the parents, because me personally, when I go to the supermarket, I'm spending 200-300, and it's just me. So I can imagine what y'all spending, and I'm sure it's the same for Mercy and Mertel. I know when y'all go to the supermarket, it's a couple of dollars you spending in there.
Yeah, I was like, after out evens, I'm like, damn, I got to figure out how I'm gonna like re-up and recoup this money back. Like, it was getting crazy.
But the other thing was, they kept promising the parents who didn't have food stamps, they was gonna send you money, food stamps. So I have 2 kids in public school, so they sent me 2 food stamp cards.
Well,
and it was $420. So every parent who have a kid enrolled in public school should be getting a food stamp card with $420, I believe, and that's supposed to be like you're covering from COVID. Like,
and you know what? I want to shout out at Atlanta, because at my sister's district in Atlanta, her kids' school did that. They sent all the parents a supplemental food account so they could take care of that while they're not in school. So I want to shout them out for that.
Yeah, I came late. I literally just got my 2 kids' cards like 2 weeks ago, and I gave my card to other people to use, because during the pandemic I got a promotion.
But you know, the reason why I feel like this is so important in the conversation, because these are the things that, you know, our officials need to think about, especially during this time. But this is the last question. This is probably going to be the most important question. Ice Cube brought up an amazing point when he was talking about this year's election. He said, we need to think about our vote, because we need to understand whether you care about this election or not, whether you believe the black vote matters or not. You got to ask yourself, why, if the black vote doesn't matter, why are 2 old white people who don't give a fuck about black people paying millions and millions of dollars to get the black vote if it doesn't matter? Think about that for a minute.
Matter. And I just told my grandmother the other day, because, you know, Trump with this whole thing with locking the mailboxes and stuff. I told my grandmother I'm honestly considering taking off that day and driving the people that live in my apartment complex to go vote.
Let me tell you something. There are a lot of people that are planning for that. I think the Barclays Center is going to open that day as a polling station. What LeBron James is doing in Ohio, LeBron James is making sure that there are workers in every ballot station in Ohio for this year's election. trust me, people are on their job. But I want to ask each one. Hold on, Keita, because I know time we running low on time. I want to ask each one of y'all this, because this is what Cube said. What do we want for our vote? Now, I want everybody to really go into detail. For your vote, you got 2 candidates. And if you had to talk to both of those candidates today, what would you tell them you want for your vote? Let's start with Myrtle and Mercy.
For, now, for my vote, what I really want, the main thing, I want Black people to matter. I want Black people to matter in this country. I want for it to be a level playing field on all aspects when it comes to education, when it comes to finance, when it comes to working, every aspect of life that you can possibly imagine, we need a level playing field. That to me is the most important.
I got you.
Exact answer.
Myrtle, what you want for your vote?
For my vote, for the Black vote, and the reason why, to kind of answer what Ice Cube said, is because they know that back in the days, their ancestors messed up by bringing us over here in the first place. Right. So number one, I need for them to acknowledge the slavery, the Jim Crow era. I need them to acknowledge every single promise that was made to our community in the past, that all these politicians came and said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to fix Baltimore, we're going to do this. Nothing was done. This is the time. This is the time for us to see something that we can actually believe a politician. Because honestly, this whole selling us a dream, we're done. We're done dreaming. We are wide awake. We are woke.
Right.
We're as woke as possible. And we see through all the BS. Don't show us BS. Don't sell us a dream. We want to see reality. We want to see our Black sisters and brothers being able to buy property whenever they want to. We want to see people have the same health care. When I walk in, when all 3 of us Black women walk into a hospital, we get treated the same way that the white woman is being treated on the bed next to us. Because enough is enough. Because I swear to God, and I swear if they kill Tom right now, they are out there marching, picketing, no one is going to sleep. Every police officer's tour is extended. But Jamal gets shot, nobody bats an eye. Especially if it's a police officer that does it. And that has to stop. We're done. How much more of our bodies got to lay in the streets?
Yeah, or at least just acknowledge that it's happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least
on top of that, for our future, I want them to start acknowledging that climate change is a big factor. Because we can talk about, changing the economy, changing everything. But if we are not breathing, if our kids can't breathe air or our grandkids can't breathe the air, then all this we're doing is, mopping the floor with our clean hands. That's what we're doing.
I got you. Let's go now. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Keita. Let's go, Keita. Go ahead, Keita.
Everything they said for the Black vote, but I do want to add also in with the system. We know there's a lot of African American men in jail right now for things that they have not done.
That's a fact.
Reopen these cases and reassess these things, because like she said, Tom goes in a church, shoots the church out. What was that kid recently that got walking past with a gun? And then next thing you know, Jamal does that, and Jamal is shot and dead.
In DC, yep. In DC.
Shot and dead because Jamal is dead.
No, and let's put a point on the difference. The white boy was walking towards the cops with the gun. The Black kid is running away from the cops with the gun.
Exactly. And I think they need to open some of these cases, because I'm all for freeing a man that is not guilty. Yeah. Like, I'm all for it. And I think it's fucked up that a lot of these men are in here suffering for things they didn't do. Look at.
I'm sorry. Listen, Keita, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, but I think America, the thing that America gets fucked up with Black people is that they feel like we're just against locking people up. Listen, if Raheem gets caught breaking into an old lady's home, yeah, lock his dumb ass up.
Exactly.
If Jamal gets caught raping a lady, yeah, lock his stupid ass up.
Right.
If Rashad gets caught killing somebody, yes, lock his stupid ass up.
Right.
We're just asking for equal treatment on bipartisan crimes that don't need to accelerate the way they do. A black man shouldn't get killed reaching for his wallet to pull his ID out.
And
That's all we're
exactly.
saying.
A wallet that you asked to see.
Right. Right.
Yesterday,
And I think the perfect. Oh, never.
because I let my son drive my car. I went to Far Rockaway yesterday to get a nose ring. I'm like, why is it traffic like this? Like, I'm not over there all the time, but I'm like you driving down Beach Channel Drive. The cops are pulling people over every third car. I didn't realize what was going on. Of course, my luck, I'm the third car. They're like license, registration, insurance. We're just, he was nice. I'm not gonna lie, but the tonality in his voice make you like, oh shit, like this my time. Like what the fuck is about to happen? He's like, we're pulling people over every 3 cars, just just a manual random check to make sure your license match your registration and all of this, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, officer. He was like, I pulled out. I said, may I open my wallet to get he's like, sure. He's staying there. I'm looking at him while he's looking at me because, I got Black Lives Matter in my head right now. So I'm like, I'm watching him while I'm opening it up. So I'm not even getting it out fast enough. So I pull it out and he was like, okay, insurance. Let me tell you what I've been doing. My insurance and my registration is taped right on the glove compartment, not inside. So I'm not even reaching to go inside for anything. I got it right there because I know my son drives my car sometimes. And I don't want him in a situation where he go and open and they trying to say, oh, he pulled out, he went and we thought he pulled something.
Right,
we see black in the glove compartment. No, that shit is taped right to my car, like with a Velcro. And that's sad. This is the times that we are in now that a mom like me, a Black woman, a parent has to think to do something like that. I've been driving since 2000. I've never even thought in my mind until recently to do that to my car.
Right. But I mean, that unfortunately, that's the world we in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends, she put her stuff on the steering wheel in a plastic right there. So when they stop her, it's like,
wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy. And you know what? And it's sad that it's crazy, Marilyn, but it's a good idea. Because you just don't know. Like in my head, I swear to God, the whole time I'm like, yo, oh my God, what is about to happen right now? I'm like, I never really get pulled over. But that today I'm like, oh boy, what's going on here?
Yeah. No, amazing. So let's get it to Marilyn though. Marilyn, what do you want for your vote?
So for my vote, I need them to do prison reform. I need the crime to fit the punishment and it to be across for Black people, white people, Mexicans, immigrants, whatever. I need everybody to get the same. Like there needs to be a list that says if you do this, and this happened. Who cares if you Black, white, or whatever? This is what you did. This is what you do.
Right.
I also want them to forgive student loan debt, right? Because
of
us Black people, the reason why we can't get the reason why I live in the Bronx is because I didn't have any credit. All I had was student loan.
Whoa. There will be no Bronx slander on this live. Hold up. I was with you until you mentioned the Bronx. The Bronx ain't got nothing to do with none of that, yo. All right? Let's keep it copacetic, yo.
This was not my preferred choice of living, right? So student loan debt.
No, I'm totally with
erased.
Right.
To give a because the only way that most of us Black and brown people will have a chance to even get what we feel we deserve is to get that off our back. Right. And it seems like no matter what, it's like that's the cheese they dangle in front of us. Like it's either y'all gonna do it or y'all not, right?
Right.
Because everybody's talking about it free and that, but you can't get it if this and that and this and that and this, whatever. Just erase student loan debt. I just feel like for
But you know what? Like I said, we like to be totally fair and objective here. I believe Trump tried to do that, and the Democrats curved it, right?
Nah, it was for people who like if you made a certain amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't have benefited us. Like
No.
Okay.
It wasn't
in
beneficial.
the bill, it was like you forgiving the loan of people who don't need the loan forgiven because they could just pay it tomorrow.
Right.
Give it
Right.
for the people who's here paying $700 a month and still trying to pay $1,500 of rent and taking care of these kids, like and paying $700 for health care, right? They was forgiving it for a certain margin, which don't work for me.
No.
Mhm.
And I just feel like they need to make it illegal, a law that if you kill a black man who is unarmed, that you, especially people in law enforcement, right? Because everybody's talking about Black Lives Matter and black people kill black people and why black people don't care about black people when black people, it's a different level when someone who's trained to protect the people kills someone versus Tyrone killing Joe because they had an argument, right?
Exactly.
So you are put in a position that a city job that you're supposed to manage the behavior and de-escalate the situation, and you kill an unarmed, not just a black person. Let me be clear, if you kill an unarmed any person, right, your sentence should be life or death.
I
Like
agree.
I feel like it should be death.
Both of y'all, Keita, I'm talking about Keita and Maryland. Both of y'all got sons, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you? And this is dope because I'm sure Mercy and Myrtle at some point y'all gonna have a child. So this is good for y'all to hear. How do you explain this to your sons in terms of just the world we live in today, in terms of dealing with racism, dealing with the police, dealing with the outcome that often comes for black men? Like, how do you explain this shit to them?
So I'll start by saying I'm mother's mother, right? My son is 11. My son is completely different than I am. My son and myself and my son's father are very much products of our environment, right? And I was the one who went to school.
To say the least, you are Harlem for real.
Right. But I was the girl who felt like I needed to be the smart girl. So everybody knows I've been the school girl forever. I'm definitely very hood, but I balance it very well. His father is definitely very hood. My son is completely the opposite. I call my kid a Disney kid. I don't let my kid watch the news. I don't let my son I haven't let my son see any of the Black Lives Matter anything except the stuff that I exposed him to. I let him read books like Black Boy Joy. I let him read a book called
But he's familiar with George Floyd, right?
He's familiar with it based off of my story for him. I'm not trying to put no trauma on my son. I'm also not trying to make my son afraid of the cops because usually things happen in fear, right? You respond in a way because you're afraid, even though you're not being threatening, you're afraid. So I don't want my son to be afraid to call the police if he needed to call the police. Because again, I'm a single mother. I live by myself with my kids. So if something happens to me in the house, I need my son to be okay with calling 911 because I need assistance, right? But I need him to also understand that his skin color can be threatening to some people. So I explain it to my son in a way that he understands it, and his father talks to him in a way that he understands it. But a lot of it comes from his father, because as a black man and his father's 6'5", 6'6", he's definitely a target. So my son he doesn't get like a full see the knee on George Floyd or see people getting killed, but he understands what is going on and he understands what's
But
race.
is he familiar with Trayvon? Because Trayvon was 15, 14, something like that?
I want to say he was 16.
I think it was 15.
15.
Trayvon was 15, right?
Yeah.
15.
Right. So Trayvon wasn't a grown man. Trayvon was a young kid. You know what I mean?
There's a book for middle school kids called Ghost Boy. It's about a boy who's killed by the cops, and his ghost comes back to visit the family of the cop who killed him. And in the book, he's visited by Emmett Till and Laquan McDonald, like all the boys who were
Yeah,
killed.
yeah, LaFawn McDonald.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have to get that book.
Those are the ghost boys. And I let my son read it. I also let my daughter read it because she have to understand too. It don't stop at boys. It happens to women. Sandra Bland is a big part of my life. So for me, it's like I tell them things, but you can't expose your kids to stuff when you don't have that mind frame. Like honestly, a kid got killed right outside of our window on last Thursday. My son seen a dead body laying on the ground. My son was
wow.
My son is now in Harlem because those are not the type of things that he's ready for. So I have to teach him in a way that he understands, but not put fear in him, and not and help and like push him to ask me questions. My kids are big on the election too. So like did the
let me get.
I was just gonna say they had a
let me get.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Marilyn.
No,
let me get Keith in there. So
I'm the same way with Marilyn. Like my kids don't really watch the news except for my 8-year-old, but I've been doing like a little more parental control with that. But he doesn't, how can I say it? As far as like with the election and stuff like that, as far as he's concerned, his president is still Obama. And I didn't tell him that. He's brought home stuff from school with Trump, and he makes Trump brown. No, I swear to God, I was trying to look over there on my office desk so I could show you guys. He has a booklet. He crossed Trump's name out and everything. He has him brown. My sister picked him up last year before this whole pandemic happened off the bus. And he's like, well, why does everybody like Trump? Why do all the people like Trump so much? He's an evil person. This is what my 8-year-old, he's an evil person. So I limit to him with the stuff, like especially with the Black Lives Matter. If he sees that I go out and, do peaceful protests, he'll ask, oh, well, why are you doing it? What happened now? So I'll tell him stuff, but I'll condition it a little bit. I don't want him to know too much where that he's traumatized. And I buy my kids all Black books. We celebrate, I celebrate Kwanzaa with them and everything. He has, I think it's like Dear Little Black Boy. He has all of these African-American books that I have him read. My older son, he understands, like, he knows that cops are not good, but I explained to him that all cops are not that way because I do have male family and female in the, in the system, in corrections and in the police department. So he does know that. And I have friends also. Like I have a cousin that comes over here. He's a cop all the time, when he, jokes around my son, but he also calls him and like, listen, he'll let him know what's going on in the world is serious.
Yeah.
When you driving, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. Like, cause I have a kid, he's a teen, he jokes a lot and stuff like that. When they pull your ass over, he let him know that shit is serious. You do this, you do this, you do this. So me explaining it to him, he's thinking, oh, like Marilyn said, smother mother, cause that's the mother I am. Where you at? Drop your location. Like they think I'm psycho, my kids, but they don't understand. I need to know so that if something happens from where you're leaving this destination to coming home, and some part in the middle, God forbid something happened to you, and there's pieces of the puzzle missing, I need to say, well, you saying you saved my son at this time, but he dropped his location at this time. So somebody's lying. So you know what I'm saying? So I need some kind of thing so I can have my own validation in the event something, God forbid, does happen. So I try to explain that to him. Like they don't understand that stuff that's very necessary. I'm being a smother mother at the same time, but I'm being a realist and a real mother at the same time.
You know what's crazy? There's a viral video going on right now of a Black mother who had to protect her kid who got pulled over. I believe, I don't want to say the wrong state. I think it was in Texas though. And she reminds me of both of y'all right now because she was just so protective over her son because she knows how dramatic the situation could have got. You understand what I'm saying? If she wasn't there. Because the problem is a lot of these kids today, if you 18, 19, 20, 21, you don't know how to interact with the police.
Nope.
And then it's not even that you don't know how to interact with the police. You don't know how to respond to somebody who you were raised to think that they are supposed to be good. Because right, in school they say cops are good, and then you get a cop that be like, yo, what's up, motherfucker? And then you looking like, wait.
Like,
and that was a big conversation we had with our middle schoolers. Like, no matter how they approach you, it is necessary that you keep your composure no matter what, because no matter how wrong they are, anything that you do that makes them feel threatened is going to be a result of something going wrong. It's either you're going to be roughed up or arrested.
But listen, but the thing is, the change that we need to see in America is that nobody, whether it be a cop or a citizen, should feel threatened just because you're a black man.
Exactly. And that's another thing that they need to change. And that's another thing for the black vote. These officers, they need to be retrained.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
They need to pull them out.
But that comes from a state level, a city level. That's
but they need
black people to understand that voting in the presidential election is not enough. You got to vote for the Congress, the council members, the senators, all of that, because that
the borough presidents, everybody.
That plays a role in how things happen that directly affect you. Y'all need to do your census.
Yep.
And that's the thing. I think more of us need to understand. We need to start voting on the local levels, because I see people that be complaining about the garbage piled up in their neighborhood and they blame it on the president. And I'm like, the president don't got nothing to do with that. Like, that's your local people who take care of shit like that.
Everything is Trump. No, right now everything is Trump. Everybody be like, look what Trump did.
Right. So it's like you need to understand your local municipalities. Let me ask Martell and Mercy this: as a married couple, y'all do file your taxes together, right? Or no? Or we got some other shit going on?
We plead the fifth on that one.
I can't with
but as a couple that's legally married, you are legally married, right?
Yes, that we can answer. Yes.
Okay. As a couple that's it's always some funny shit going on with y'all, like, you know what I mean? But all right.
I will pull up the document if you need it.
You need to see the wedding pictures and all that?
All right. As a couple that's legally married, what can the next president improve on for the economy, for people like y'all who got to deal with taxes on a different kind of level?
Shit, lower them.
Well, honestly, for me, looking at certain things, especially with the middle class has been shrinking exponentially over the years. No one is realizing that. And we need to work on that, because you cannot, or if that doesn't change, you're just going to have poverty and rich people. It's going to be like Hunger Games.
Right.
Really nothing in between. So that's number one. Number two, we need to be able to say, okay, you know what? When we do have our house, we need to be able to say, okay, there are certain things that the house can help us with. There are certain, tax cuts that we can get because
talk that shit. Talk that shit for real. Talk that shit.
And then also we need to understand, and honestly, I feel like
not to cut you off, Martell, because your house should work for you, not against you.
Exactly.
Right.
And then also on top of that, I feel that even for married people, before they get married, whether it's male or female, male and male, female and female, whatever you are, there should be like an incentive for you to go and sit down with a financial planner, because a lot of married people go into married life in debt. So you're already settled in debt.
What I implore right now, I implore all Black people to get your credit together, not because of the way you could use it, but to show America that we can't be financially
And
responsible.
honestly, I don't
You
know. I
understand
don't
what I'm
know.
saying? Like,
I don't know if you, Marilyn, and you, Lakita, are doing this, but I was thinking we need to start the financial planning with kids in middle school.
Teach
Oh,
financial literacy class for my middle
Because
school.
it is important because and not to the fault of our parents, they did not know that we were going to need this information.
right.
So now it is important, it is imperative because that is the only way that we're going to be able to build equity as Black
Right.
people.
yeah.
Because
And
right now,
not just equity, generational wealth
But
that
I,
we could pass on to the next generation.
and
Right.
we got to be the generation, unfortunately, right now, we got to be the generation right now to start that generational wealth.
but
So
I think
we gotta place the stone somewhere to build that house for our future generations.
Right.
I think the difference is the change, because I feel like for my grandfather who had no credit cards and who didn't trust banks, his mindset was different. So being able to pay for something with cash made him feel like he was taking care of his family. I could buy this Cadillac cash with no problem. I don't need no credit. Like, they didn't understand how it would affect us. Like, even my mom was like, she had credit cards, but we never really talked about it until it was like I was old enough to like have my own credit cards. But with my kids, I we're doing financial literacy for middle school, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. I'm hoping that they open back Finance Park downtown, where the kids get to live a scenario and see if they can purchase a house and what school their kids could go to, because it's a whole scenario that it walks you through and it teaches you how to be financially responsible. And then at the end, it prints out a paper that tells you whether or not you handled your life
What
properly.
is the name of that park?
It's called Finance Park. It's through the Junior Achievement curriculum.
Is this just
Where's that located?
for everyone?
What you said, I'm sorry.
Where's it located?
Go ahead. Is it just for the city or it's for anybody to go to?
No, it was like a kind of like a pop-up expo down. It was like
Anybody?
downtown. But when I did it, it was the first time I did it was probably like 2014, where we took the kids. They had to do a budget. They had to figure out what their budget was like and stuff.
Mhm.
Then they got to go. So they give you a scenario, say you were a single mom or married with 3 kids. Now you go to the park and then you go to each machine, you put your card in and you pick what you do, and then you continue. They got college, they got jobs, they got houses. It's just a whole financial situation to see if you're able to kind of make better decisions for yourself. And for me as an adult, it was like, why have this as a kid?
Right.
Because but hold on, let me answer that. You know why we didn't have that as kids? Because it wasn't important for our parents.
Right. Because
credit for us wasn't important for our parents. Like, listen, I had a cable bill in my name when I was 8 years old. God. My social security number was used for all kinds of shit.
Jeez. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like for our parents coming up, it just wasn't, credit wasn't important, but we gotta stop that now for those next generations, so they could take out them loans on them houses and build up that money for them to keep going forward. You understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like the credit. Listen, let's be real. Credit in America was built to go against Black people. Period.
Yep. Period.
That was to keep us out of a certain economic base.
But I feel like we also started in a deficit, so it was no way that we could get out of it. Like, it felt like we owed from the beginning. You had to pay for just to be out of debt. Like, you was paying in debt, and you was in debt before you had debt.
That's a fact. That's a fucking fact.
Sharecroppers owed money that they didn't even know they owed, and they wasn't even paid employees, but they owed money when they were free. It's like,
shit, most of us came out the womb in debt. We was in debt when we was born.
And one other thing about the whole loans and everything, whoever we elect need to be on the necks of these bank owners, these CEOs that are not giving Black people the loans that they need to start up their businesses,
No, yep.
to get their homes, especially if you tell somebody, oh, I'm a Black person, and let's just say I'm going to open up a small business in Soho. That's a predominantly white neighborhood. They're gonna make you go through a needle to get that loan. But if you go and you ask your white friend
But you know
to
what?
open up
But
that loan with
I'm
you,
gonna keep it a buck with you, Mertel. But that comes down to us. We need to stop looking to the white man. We need more Black banks. We need
We
more
do.
Black lenders. We need more people of our.
I'm gonna shout out Spring Bank. There's two of them, one in Harlem and one in the
Mhm.
Bronx, and they are very, very, very good on helping Black.
so there's no way for all the smaller Black
Yeah,
banks to
still got
kind of come together and become like a bigger bank.
So yeah, they're working. Listen, they're working on that. Two of them did. Two of them out there. One was from St. Louis. One was from Detroit. They just merged to help those people in the Midwest see better lending and see better financial prosperity. So it's like we're trying to get to a better day. There are a lot of people out here trying to get to a better day. We still got a long way to go, but at the end of the day, that comes down to us just having us to put us in that position. Like if we can sit down with people that are like-minded and look like us to say, yo, listen, this is what I want to do.
He keeps going.
And I want to do it in the hood. I want to open a corner store in the hood. Can you hold me down? Certain people about that now, they don't even understand. I want to
Pay so you like.
Yeah, pay your joint last.
In Maryland, got to get to the kids. We good? You hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I want to keep it moving because I know Keita and Maryland got to get to the kids. They got school in the morning. I want to say this real quick though.
Kids in Harlem.
I feel like this, man. Huh?
She said her kids.
Stupid.
My kids are being.
Y'all can hear me? I'm good.
You good, Alec?
Okay. All right. I want to say this though. I feel like what I want for my vote is just I want a fair playing board across. I just want it to be fair. I'm not asking for no more, no less than that. I just want us to have fair treatment. I want the same treatment that everybody else gets. So if I get pulled over, I want to be treated fairly. I don't want to be guilty before you even know me. I don't want to be pulled. I don't want to walk into a store and feel like I got to buy something because you think I'm stealing.
Right.
I want to be treated fairly. That's all I'm asking for. It's just fair treatment. And for whatever reason, America acts like we asking too much when we ask for fair treatment. Real talk. So, and I'm gonna be straight up. I'm voting for Biden because I feel like we can hold Biden's feet to the fire. I feel like if we put certain things on Biden, every president's legacy is built on dual terms. There's no president, no sitting president ever that didn't run for re-election, except for Nixon because he resigned before he got impeached. But every single sitting president besides Nixon ran for 2 terms. So every single president's legacy is built on dual terms. With Trump, he gets reelected, he can say everything that sounds great right now, but he gets reelected, and you know what he can say? He can say, yo, everybody can suck my dick because I'm out of here in 4 years anyway. I don't care.
Right.
Fuck around and fuck up the country even
with
more.
Biden, at least with Biden, we can hold his feet to the fire. We can say, listen, we held you down. You didn't come through for us. So fuck you on that next re-election.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what I feel.
We already,
you know what I mean?
already in here, and I feel that he doesn't even deserve a second term. Nope. He has not shown me anything to deserve it, just from his attitude alone. What president tweet back mad petty shit? Yeah. I have never seen that. Yeah. Not even with Bush. I've never seen the pettiness. Like you a child. That's what I feel like a child is in office, and that's how I feel.
And he's a do as I say, not do as I
more TikTok.
Wait, what you said, Mary?
He's a do as I say, not as I do kind of person. because especially with the situation with the absentee ballots, and he was like, if people do absentee ballots, it's going to be rigged. This is not going to be fair. But then requested absentee ballots for his whole family in the White House. It's like, wait, you got an absentee ballot, but I can't get one. So like, how does that work? Do as I say, not as I do.
And honestly, I just feel like
I'm not wearing no mask. But y'all should wear masks. Oh, y'all shouldn't wear masks. I'm gonna wear a mask, but y'all shouldn't wear no mask. And then it's like, it's so crazy.
And honestly, I just feel like he throws a tantrum with a lot of companies that, you know, piss him off. If you piss him off, you're on a list, and he's gonna find a legal way to get you out of here. And he has people that he's paying to do his bidding. And right now, I feel like we need to listen to all of the people that were on his side in 2016 and rode with him, but are now just coming out and saying all of.
But see, that's the part that I can't get with, right? Because that's the situation right there. My grandmother always say, you play with a puppy, it'll lick your mouth at some point, right? So it's like, y'all been this, like the Woodward guy who wrote the book,
Bob Woodward.
Now you want to play tapes. I feel like he should go to jail. Like, you knew that he did this all these months ago, but because you was putting out a book, now you want to say this. Same thing with the lady who was like, oh yeah, well, he was trying to send me to North Korea, talk about take one for the team. Why you ain't seen this before?
Right.
You know, it's like the whole thing about everybody is like, as soon as he turn on them, then it becomes a whole situation. Like Fauci never turned on him. He never was on his side. He just was an advisor on how to deal with the pandemic. He stayed out of the political stuff, but then they turned it into a political situation. It was like, once you turn on me, now I'm going to rip you apart. And they started talking about Bill Gates, and he ain't shit, but that's another situation. But I'm just like, it's really crazy. Even the situation with the vaccination.
But you know what? I will say this. I feel like this election is extremely important for all of us, in terms of how we're going to go forward as a people and as a country. And I'm just glad to see so many of us that are in tune with what's going on this year. We got November. It's what, November 6th?
3rd.
Or 3rd or something like that?
3rd. November 3rd.
November 3rd. We're less than 2 months away. It's going to get really real in a heartbeat. I'm telling you, like, it's going to get, trust me, like, we have not seen shit yet. It's about to get really real in a second for all of us. So, you know, I just like the fact that we're all staying afloat. We're all like-minded individuals, and we're all well within our means to make a sound decision on where we want to go. Has everybody here decided who they're going to vote for? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So you know damn well
yes.
He's a lawless president, and he's got to go. That is the most, to me, that is the biggest thing for all Black people who are watching and listening. You cannot have a man in charge of the people who do not live by the rules of the land that he is supposed to be preserving and protecting. He is a lawless man. Right? So anybody who doesn't even respect the laws of the land that he lives in has no business leading people and telling people how to follow laws. Do as I do, not do as I say, but I'm gonna do some different shit. That don't make sense to me. Like, I don't care what Biden said in the past, Trump needs to be removed. He is a lawless man, if that's what we want to call him.
Right.
All right. So, what about you, Keita? You Trump or Biden?
Oh, definitely Biden.
All right. What about you, Martel? Trump or Biden?
They could have told me that, you know what? This is going to be so controversial, and I know you're going to hate me for this, but they could have told me 6ix9ine was running, and I would have voted for 6ix9ine over Trump.
I agree. I agree. I'm not even going to.
At least 6ix9ine would have told me everything I needed to know.
Facts.
Yo, what about you, Mercy? Trump or Biden?
Biden, easily.
So you
All
vote?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a vote. I'm definitely gonna vote. I have my thoughts about the whole voting process and everything, but I still feel like the way Trump handled just this whole pandemic. Nah, he can't be there. He can't be there.
What I wanted to say was people got to think about it like this, right? Let's say, God forbid, hell freezes over and Trump wins, and they go through a list to see who did not vote and who did vote, and then Trump's next decision is those who did not vote can no longer vote moving forward, right? That's his
Right.
executive order. Then all those people who don't vote will be like, "What the fuck? Why can't I vote? I should be able to vote." Nah, you have to exercise your right to vote. This is one of those things that because you can't.
I also feel like if you haven't been using your right to vote, you have no reason to complain about what's going on. Like
No,
me, as a person who doesn't participate in politics like that, if I don't vote, I'm not the one sitting up here complaining, well, yo, this president's doing this, this person is doing that because I didn't exercise my right.
That's a
And
fact.
one other thing that we Black people need to look into seriously, and I tell, even if we don't talk about it right now, go on your computer and Google the Electoral College, because this is why we're in the situation that we're in. Hillary Clinton in 2016 got 3 million more popular votes than Donald Trump, but yet this man still became president. So now we need to understand, why is it that certain states in this country hold more power than other states?
right.
It's because of that this man is in the White House. So that needs to be investigated. Somebody needs to open up an inquiry and find out exactly, why was it there? Why is it here? What can we do to change it? Because if we look at all the states, there's no reason why Ohio should be having so much more power than other states. You
But you
understand?
also got to think about that 3/5 compromise. That's a big part of it too. That's what they did. Certain places had more people
Mm-hmm.
because they had more people. They got more representation, and that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Because, and
We
honestly, like,
whole revamping of how government is looked at and
Yes.
how it works, because again, it
Yeah.
wasn't a system that was made to think about Black people. Like, we were not represented as individuals. We were considered a group. So it's like,
No. We gotta understand the electoral college was made without Black people being in mind. Let's keep that real. Like, we wasn't thought about at that time. That wasn't built for us.
but honestly, on election night, I will be paying attention to whatever the Electoral College is saying first before I look at the popular vote.
No, the electoral college is all that matters. And at the end of the day, listen, man, November 3rd is going to be an historical night for this country.
it's going to be a
Trust me.
painful night, because I feel like 2016 was painful. I was trying to tell you, Nickelodeon had the election on Nick Jr. or Nickelodeon, whatever, and the kids got to text in and vote, and the kids voted for Hillary Clinton. Won. So when my kids woke up in the morning, they were like, "Mom, Hillary Clinton is the president." I said, "Oh no, she's not." It was like, "Oh, Nickelodeon told us that." I said, "Nah, that's what y'all voted, but the people
They
voted."
sold them the dream.
Kids were disappointed. My
Yeah.
kids were my daughter was disappointed.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, man, I don't think, me personally, I don't think we can go through 4 more years of Trump. But, like I said, for me, Biden is the lesser two evils. If that's what it comes down to, Biden is the lesser two evils for me, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's get up out of here, man. I want everybody to get their social media. Keita, give them your social media before we get up out of here.
Facebook is Lakita Steele, Steele. Instagram, Lakita, La Femme Lakita, LaFemmelaKita, and it's the same for my Twitter as well.
All right, Marilyn, go ahead, give me your social media and all that before we get up out of here.
I'm just Marilyn Ann _ on Instagram, and on Facebook, I think I'm Marilyn Ann McMillan. I gotta keep a low profile because you know I work in school and they be trying to watch to see.
Well, I'm about to fuck that up right now because for those who don't know, Marilyn's sister dances for Beyonce. For those who don't know, so y'all gotta check her out. Check out her social media for that.
Wow.
Yes.
What you say your social media was again?
Go to
Yes.
HarlemParade.com so you can see my sister's video. So
Okay.
dope.
Yes,
what-
and they look just alike too. So you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
HarlemParade.com. So
No,
watch.
no. Let's not do that. Give them
No.
your sister's social media so
Oh,
they
my
can check out.
sister's social media is Dnay B is me. DNAYB.
Take those to me. I want Maryland's too, though.
Oh, I'm Marilyn Ann. MARILYNANN_.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I want Keita and Maryland. I would love for y'all to link up because y'all like share a lot of the same views when it comes to the kids and the schools and all of that stuff. So definitely link up with each other. You know what I mean? Mertel, what's your social media and all that?
Mertel Ernest Reed on Facebook and on Instagram, Haitian Boss Material.
All right, Mercy.
No Mercy Harlem's or No Mercy TV on damn every platform. Just Google it. I'll come up somewhere.
Mercy.
That's what up. Peso PMG, Instagram, PMG Biz, Twitter, Kenny Peso Levy, Facebook, man. An amazing conversation. I thank all of y'all, seriously. And make sure we all hit them voting booths or send your vote out. However they doing it this year, make sure you fucking vote, man.
Oh yeah, fill out your census too. Do your census.
Your census.
Part of it.
Walking around, having the people fill it out and go into the mailboxes.
I actually work for the census.
That's good.
So it is very, very important. And I'm just telling everyone, we only come around every 10 years. So it only takes 10 minutes. So literally. And if you have someone who, like me, who appreciates your time, I will make this go by in like 5 minutes. So
right.
I will condense it and you'll be out of there and you will be counted. And then also vote and register. If you're not registered, register. Every place on your Instagram, on your Facebook, there are places, there's like little ads that pop up saying register to vote. Please click on it and make sure.
And even for those who don't know, even if you aren't registered, what they don't tell you, even the day of, you can literally go to your voting site and register right there on the spot and vote. Mm-hmm. So there's no excuse. Go register.
And then also when you guys are voting, that November 3rd, there are other things on the ballot. I want you to make sure there are other people that you might be voting for. Make sure you know what they are standing for, everything that their policies are, because you don't know if you're voting for somebody to take away an access ramp that your grandmother needs. No,
that's a fact.
So just make sure that the people don't look at Biden and Trump. Look at what's underneath Biden and Trump. Your senators, your representatives, your state legislators, your city councilmen, your DAs, your controllers, the people controlling the money. All these people, there will be, and especially if anyone looking at this in other states and other countries, this is what needs to be done.
I'm gonna keep it so funky right now. I usually just click on all Democrat and keep it moving.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't. You can't do that. You cannot.
Just because they represent our party, sometimes they represent Democrat for the benefit of being the only one who's in that thing. So you need to
That's why I said do your research on everything.
Cross party, you could switch it up and vote Republican if you need to, because sometimes people switch their parties for these types of elections because they know it's nobody running against them. So it's like, fuck that. I'm gonna go Democrat just so that I know for sure I'm gonna get this. So don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
I got you.
Don't do that.
I got you. All right, so that's what it is, man. We had
don't vote because they know they have to do all of this extensive research. I think they just don't want to deal, it's a lot of laziness with people that don't want to vote.
And they got to follow the instructions. So that's one thing I want to say, Peso, before you end it. the big deal with absentee ballots is following instructions, right? You got to make sure if it says check the box, you check the box. If it says bubble in the box, bubble in the box. If it says do not write outside of these boxes, do not do that. Make
Because
sure
it
you follow instructions. Also, if your signature has changed from when you got your state ID, re-register to vote so that they have your new updated signature.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you my shit. My shit be having it be having all of the names of the Democrats, and then you can just like click on one joint. I'll be ringing that shit like the Wheel of Fortune for the Democrats. Like, all right, that's what I'm going for. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
that pick though.
I don't be knowing none of them niggas' names. I just like fuck it. I'm on for all these niggas right here.
This is the election. Honestly, I'm gonna end it off for myself and by saying that this is the election that's going to either send us back 400 years or send us forward at least another 2-3 years of progress.
Yeah. No. And I love that point you made. All jokes aside, Black people, this one is really real. Like this one right here, we are in a crossroads for Black people right now. Like real shit, yo. Like, and truthfully, we're not fighting for us. We're fighting for our kids, our grandkids, their kids. Like that's what we're fighting for right now. The same way our parents in the 60s and the 50s fought for us, we're fighting for them. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure we all want to leave this world in a better place for them than it is for us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going for. So vote November 3rd. We out of here. Peso, Mercy, Myrtle, Marilyn, Keita, we out.
Good.